Welcome to the Invincible recap. Mark Grayson is a high schooler that tries to stop bullying. He is a massive fan of Omni-man, the strongest hero in the universe, who's actually his father. He originates from Viltrum, a perfect society. The Viltrumites can fly and have superpowers. When they are of age, they descend onto a different planet to act as guardians of the planet. Omni-man chose to come to Earth, and when he did, he met Debbie and eventually made Mark. He stops crime and works with the Guardians of the Globe. He has finally started gaining powers and stands up to his bully Todd. In one of their first training sessions, Nolan punches him real hard, which was odd as a nurturing and understanding father he was. Mark decides to use the name Invincible as his hero name, accredited to Nolan, and gets a tailored suit to start his own adventures. Meanwhile, Omni-man alerts the Guardians of the Globe to their headquarters, where he slaughters all of them in cold blood. The Global Defense Agency moves in to find that all the Guardians are dead, but Nolan still has a pulse. Cecil, the director, investigates the crime scene with a demon detective, Damien Darkblood, who uses demon magic to visualize what occurred at the scene. At school, Mark runs into Eve, a hero named Adam Eve, who previously saved him in a battle against the Flaxons. She introduces him to the fourth best superhero team, Teen Team. His bully forces him to get Amber's number, his previous crush and girl he stood up for. When Nolan wakes up, they prepare to leave the hospital, and he demands that he gets his suit back. The Flaxons invade again, but Omni-man is there to save the day. Charging into their portal, he crushes their entire planet. Damien concludes that it was probably Omni-man, but Cecil doesn't believe him, but he decides to have someone bug the Grayson and have a team follow them. After mourning the death of the Guardians of the Globe, Cecil calls in Robot to assemble a new Guardians of the Globe team. He chooses him because Omni-man won't listen to anyone. Eve flies back to find that her boyfriend, Rex Splode, is cheating on her with Duplicate. Mark chooses not to join the team, as Omni-man wants to train him and he needs to focus on school. The team is set to be Robot, Black Samson, Shrinking Ray, Duplicate, Monster Girl, Rex Splode, and Eve, but she opts out of joining the team because she doesn't want to be on a team with Rex and Duplicate. In the meantime, Mark invites over Amber to study. When he finds out Cecil has his room bugged, Rex tries to apologize to Eve, but she doesn't care, flying over to find that Mark has hooked up with Amber, which she is happy for him. Damien continues investigating, surprising Debbie, but also making her question why Nolan wasn't distraught after the death of his comrades, disappearing just as he comes into the room. Debbie goes to visit Olga, a girlfriend of a deceased guardian. She warns him that all heroes lie. Researching Damien, she finds that all of his cases, he was always correct in his accusations. Nolan warns Damien to stop meddling in his business. Mark struggles to talk to Amber because he doesn't want to reveal that he is actually invincible, and accepts a mission from Cecil to help astronauts go to Mars. They wanted to lure Nolan away, but now they can see how powerful Mark really is. Nolan notices that Debbie is acting strange and smooths it over by taking her to Rome. She promises to trust him and believe in the family. Damien snoops around and is caught by Cecil. Mark helped the astronauts to Mars and collect a space rock for Amber. They found dried blood from the Guardians, so they decide to exorcise him back to hell. Cecil is waiting to try and figure out a way to kill Omni-man before they can act on it. Damien's book is secretly listening to Debbie's and Nolan's conversation in the closet. Titan is a criminal Invincible previously beat. He signals him over to help. After paying off his debt, his boss Machine Head won't let him leave, so he convinces Invincible to help take him down. He only agrees after seeing his struggle with his family, and that he only took the loan to support them. With all the heroism, Mark puts his relationship with Amber in jeopardy. As a matter of fact, his job is also second too, which he quits, and his schooling he barely attends. Amber is fed up with all the late arrivals and getting stood up, giving him one last chance for them to volunteer together at a soup kitchen. Eve has been going through her own struggles. Now single, her parents don't want her to be a hero anymore because Rex was originally there to protect her. She storms out of her parents' house, but she does understand Mark and tries to reason with Amber that Mark is trying his hardest. Debbie finds out that Damien's book is in her closet. It suggests that the evidence in it is his missing costume that he demanded after waking up in the hospital. She distracts Nolan with a request from all over the globe, and Debbie finds the costume covered in blood. They stake out the building where Machine Head works. Amber and Eve volunteer at the soup kitchen. Long story short, they are all defeated, but the cavalry arrives. The new Guardians of the Globe decide to help them, but are instantly crushed. Battle Beast is disgusted by their inferiority and shows his mercy by killing Invincible, bashing his stomach. With a last fit of courage, they fight off the criminals, and the GDA arrive to arrest them and try to save Mark. Eve receives a call and rushes off, telling Amber that Mark would be there if he could. Titan's plan has come to fruition, and he has become the new crime boss, moving in with his family to the building. In an underground lab, they try to figure out a way to kill Viltrumite cells, using Mark's blood as a test. Mark is fixed up by the GDA and decides to go with William and Amber on a trip to the university, where they encounter a robot. Mark runs off to transform into Invincible to try and assist them, but Amber takes it as he was trying to leave them behind and take a break. Also, William has a crush on a guy that somewhat dies that turns into a robot, and he admits some awkward things.
We had sex by the water! It was the best thing that ever happened to me!
Oh, that's a tad personal.
And now he knows Mark is invincible. Meanwhile, the Guardians have all recovered. Debbie stole the bloody suit and brought it to Art, the tailor, finding that it has the remains of all the deceased Guardians' abilities, and that Nolan was the one that struck first. When he returns home, Debbie confronts him and walks off. Angry, he smashes the wall and sits alone. The day after, Debbie kicks Omni-Man out for killing the Guardians, and the GDA take her in for her safety. They return home, where Mark reveals that he is invincible, but Amber already knew and doesn't want to talk to him because he didn't trust her. He goes to search for Eve. Meanwhile, Omni-Man is searching for Mark to explain everything that has happened, including why he killed the Guardians. While he is doing this, Cecil tries to delay him by blasting lasers, personally annoying him, sending in robots, and a massive tentacle monster. When Mark and Eve run into Omni-Man, he goes to try and save him, noticing that he is in danger. Cecil calls Eve to tell her to leave and return to Guardians HQ. There is a side plot where a robot released the Marlowe twins and got them to clone him a new body using Rex's DNA because he liked Monster Girl, an underage looking little girl. I guess that's just me. In return, he gave them a Frankenstein collar to bring whoever they wanted back to life. They chose the Immortal, one of the deceased Guardians that Omni-Man killed. Filled with rage, he rushes off to go find him. Entering a separate battle with Omni-Man, he leaves Mark to fight the tentacle monster alone. The entire world watches the fight between Omni-Man and Immortal. Broadcasted from helicopters people watch at home. When Omni-Man slices Immortal in half, he slowly flies over to Mark to talk. Explaining the truth, he reveals that he was from Viltrum, but the story is a little different. They made the perfect society through murdering all weaker adversaries. When they were done, half the population was left. They conquered planets in the galaxies, but as their collection grew, their forces strained. He was one of the lucky few Viltrumites sent out to weaken a planet. To join the Viltrum Empire, the Earth must. Mark tries to resist, but describing how Viltrumites age slower the longer they live, and he is almost fully Viltrumite, meaning that he will outage Debbie and everyone on the planet. Calling Debbie like a good pet. Courageous, Mark fights back for Earth, but it is trivial. Omni-Man crushes him. When Cecil sends fighter pilot jets to distract him, Invincible tries to save their lives, but as to mock Mark, kills them too, punching him and sending him across town, creating a cataclysmic destruction, telling Mark there's no point in him fighting and they are above Earth as Viltrumites. But again, he wants to fight for Earth, so Omni-Man crushes him through the train station and uses Mark as a blade in the iconic scene, throwing him into the mountain and creating an avalanche using his punch, killing more people. Unwavering in his resolve, Mark still wants to save Earth, but Nolan gives up on him, deciding to create a new child, and goes to finish Mark off in another iconic scene. When he gets a flashback of Mark's childhood, when he was watching them at a baseball game with Debbie and they celebrated Mark making it to the final base, he realizes he has become too human. Covered in blood, he stops and flies off as Mark's blood drains from his suit. The GDA arrive to try and save Mark. The news reported that the Guardians couldn't contain the battle, but tried to save any survivors. The Marlowe twins are then arrested. When Mark wakes up, Debbie tries to comfort him. After weeks have passed and Mark has fully healed, Cecil invites invites him to become Earth's protector. But first he goes back home with Debbie. She is now inconsolable as they were listening in to his and Nolan's conversation. Amber comes to support him, and so does William and Eve. He leaves to go out with some friends, interrupted by a call to protect Earth again, where he meets Alan the alien, a worker for the Coalition of Planets, an organization made to combat Viltrum in destroying planets. He wants them to work together in defeating Viltrum, as they have been conquering planets, even destroying his own home. And this is the first time a Viltrumite, Nolan, has left a planet unconquered, meaning that he will be coming back with more reinforcements. But for now, Mark just wants to be able to finish high school. This is where season 1 ends. For a similar sad ending, watch this.